Okay, so are you ready to really dive into parenting?
Let's do it.
Today, we're going to unpack those little aha moments, those glimpses of wisdom that are hidden within the daily chaos of raising kids.
Yeah.
We asked you for your stories, and you guys delivered.
Yeah.
Let's unpack those unexpected lessons.
Yeah, and you know those lessons, they often come from the most surprising sources.
Okay.
Like toddlers,
Okay.
who, as it turns out, are practically philosophers in diapers.
Right, like you've got that story
Practically.
about the child who is just mesmerized by ants on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
and the parent is rushing to get to daycare,
Right.
but the kid is totally captivated by this tiny world unfolding right at their feet.
Yeah.
And it just makes you wonder, who's really experiencing life more fully in that moment?
I know. It's such a good point. It's a beautiful example of how toddlers embody that mindfulness that we
Right.
strive for, being present in the moment, finding wonder in the everyday.
Yeah.
And it reminds us as parents that we can benefit from tapping into that childlike perspective.
So how do we actually do that,
Yeah.
besides, following a trail of ants on our way to work?
Well, you could try starting a nature journal together.
Okay.
Even if it's just jotting down observations about, the squirrels in your backyard.
Okay.
Or dedicate 5 minutes each day to just sit outside with your child and just be noticing the sights, the sounds, the feeling of the sun
Right.
on your skin, all without judgment.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what you discover together.
I love that. And sometimes those lessons come wrapped in some pretty hilarious logic.
Yes.
Like that story about the kid who tried to argue that ice cream is basically just cold yogurt and therefore perfectly acceptable for breakfast.
Yes. The ice cream is a health food argument. You
Right.
have to admire their creativity.
I know.
But it also speaks to their developing understanding of the world. They're testing boundaries.
Yeah.
They're exploring language.
Right.
And they're trying to make sense of the rules that we set for them.
It's not always about them being right.
Right.
It's about them flexing their cognitive muscles
Exactly.
and seeing if they can bend reality just a little bit.
Precisely. And sometimes that unfiltered honesty
Oh, yeah.
can lead to those wonderfully awkward public moments that make us want to disappear into the floor.
Oh, tell me about it. Like the kid who loudly announces their bowel movements in a crowded elevator.
The worst.
We've all been there,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Those moments when you just wish you could wear a paper bag over your head.
Totally.
It's like they have a sixth sense for saying the most embarrassing thing
Yes.
at the absolute worst possible time.
It's true, but those moments are also a reminder that they're still learning the
Yeah.
social nuances of the world.
Yeah.
They don't yet have that internal filter
Right.
that keeps us from blurting out every thought that pops into our head.
And thank goodness for that, right?
Yeah.
Because as much as those moments make us cringe, they also keep us grounded.
Yes.
They remind us not to take ourselves too seriously.
Absolutely. They teach us patience, flexibility, and the importance of finding the humor
Oh, yeah.
in even the most mortifying situations. Because, let's be honest,
Yeah.
those stories often become the funniest ones we tell later on.
So true. Speaking of challenging experiences, can we talk about those early days of parenthood
Oh, yeah.
and the never-ending quest for sleep? I remember feeling like I was living in a perpetual fog,
Yes.
fueled by caffeine and sheer willpower.
Sleep deprivation, the great equalizer of parenthood.
Right.
No matter how prepared you think you are,
Yeah.
those sleepless nights have a way of testing your limits.
And everyone has an opinion on how to get your baby to sleep through the night.
I know.
I swear I received more unsolicited sleep advice than
yeah.
baby shower gifts. Sleep when the baby sleeps, they'd say, as if that is even remotely possible.
Right.
As if the laundry magically folds itself, the dishes wash themselves, and the dog lets itself out.
Exactly.
It might be well-intentioned advice,
Right.
but it highlights a common misconception
Yes.
that a baby's sleep patterns should dictate the entire household schedule.
Right.
It's like they forget that parents are human beings too,
Yes.
with our own needs for rest and sanity.
Exactly. And while it's tempting to try and force a rigid sleep schedule on a newborn,
Yeah.
the reality is their sleep patterns are still developing.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on when they're sleeping, it might be more helpful to create a consistent
Right.
and calming bedtime routine.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And maybe lay off the brandy too, right? I remember reading somewhere that rubbing brandy on a teething baby's gums used to be a common remedy
Oh my God.
for sleepless nights.
Wow. It's amazing how much parenting advice has evolved, isn't it? What's considered acceptable practice in one generation can seem completely absurd to the next.
Total.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's a process of constant learning and adapting.
It's about finding what works for your family.
Yes.
Even if it means occasionally rocking the cat instead of the baby in a sleep-deprived haze.
Yeah, whatever gets you through the night, right?
Yeah.
The important thing is to remember that those challenging moments, those sleepless nights, they're temporary.
And you know what else can make you feel like you're living in a parallel universe?
What's that?
Where, like, the laws of physics no longer apply. A trip to the grocery store with a toddler.
The grocery store, that's good.
Yeah.
A seemingly mundane task transformed into just this epic test of will. It's like stepping onto a stage where your child is like the director and you're just trying to follow their very unpredictable script.
It's amazing how quickly things can go from 0 to 60 in the snack aisle.
Oh, yeah.
You're trying to maintain some semblance of order, sticking to your list, making healthy choices.
Right.
And then, bam! The pleading eyes, the strategically placed sniffles.
Yep.
The inevitable, but I'm starving.
Oh, yeah. They've been planning this all week.
Right.
They've memorized the layout of the store. They know exactly where the sugary cereal is shelved.
It's like they can smell weakness.
Right. Totally.
And let's be honest, sometimes we cave. We're tired, we're hungry, and the promise of a quiet car ride suddenly seems worth the price of a box of cookies.
Survival mode is a powerful motivator.
Right.
But other times we hold strong, and that's when the real drama unfolds.
Oh, yeah. The full-blown meltdown.
Yes.
The dramatic floor drop, the ear-piercing screams that seem to reverberate off the produce section.
Oh, my God.
The flailing limbs that accidentally connect with a nearby display of chips.
And suddenly you're the main attraction.
Right. With a captive audience.
Yes.
You've got the sympathetic grandparents, the teenagers filming the whole thing on their phones.
Of course.
And then there's always that one well-meaning but utterly unhelpful stranger.
Always.
Who feels the need to offer unsolicited advice.
Oh, the unsolicited advice. Just give them what they want, they say.
Right.
As if you haven't considered that option already.
Right. And enjoy these years, or they grow up so fast.
Yeah, like that helps right now.
Right. As if we needed another reason to feel guilty. But you know what? As mortifying as those grocery store meltdowns can be in the moment, they always make for a good story later.
Always.
They do.
And they're a reminder that we're all in this together.
Yes.
Every parent has experienced that walk of shame as they push their screaming toddler out of the store.
Yes.
Vowing to never return without a full arsenal of distractions.
100%. Speaking of challenging situations, can we talk about the delicate dance of bedtime?
Oh, yes.
If grocery store trips are a test of patience, then bedtime is like earning your black belt in negotiation.
100%. Just when you think you've established a routine, they throw you a curveball. It starts subtly. A request for one more story, a glass of water.
Right. I need to go potty again.
Yes.
And each request is delivered with such sincerity. Those big, pleading eyes, that little voice that tugs at your heartstrings.
It's like they should be running a Fortune 500 company.
Right.
The manipulation is high level.
It's enough to make even the most steadfast parent question their resolve.
Oh, totally.
And they're playing you.
Yes, it's all part of the master plan.
It's all to squeeze every last drop of playtime out of the day.
Exactly.
So we negotiate, we compromise. Okay, one more story, but then it's lights out.
Right.
But then, just when you think you've reached a truce.
Oh no, what happens?
They unleash the ultimate weapon.
Which is, I can't sleep.
Game over. Resistance is futile at that point. You could dim the lights, diffuse lavender oil, sing lullabies until you're hoarse, but nothing soothes a sleepless toddler like the comforting presence of a parent who's slowly losing their grip on reality. You know what goes hand in hand with the sleep deprivation and the public meltdowns?
What's that?
Those moments where you think, oh my gosh, am I doing this parenting thing all wrong?
The infamous parenting fails.
Yes. The fails.
Yeah.
Those moments that make you just want to crawl in a hole and hide.
Create a very long blooper reel of your life as a parent.
Yes.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Those fails, they're not really failures at all.
Oh, tell me more, because I think my inner critic could really use a pep talk.
Okay.
Right about now.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
These aren't failures.
Yeah.
They're simply opportunities for growth humor.
Okay.
And creating some truly epic stories. Like,
Right.
that time, a child turned their bedroom into a life-sized replica of the Sistine Chapel.
Oh, wow.
Using nothing but a tube of toothpaste.
Okay, that's a little extreme.
Okay, maybe a slight exaggeration.
But I get what you mean.
Yes.
It's those messy,
yes.
imperfect moments that often teach us the most. Like that story we got about the permanent marker masterpiece on the brand new living room rug.
A classic. It's like they have this internal radar
Yes.
that leads them to the absolute most valuable surface in the house.
Yes.
The one you probably just had like professionally cleaned.
Yes.
And then bam.
Oh, no.
Abstract expressionism meets parental despair.
And you have a choice in that moment.
You do.
Do you collapse in defeat? Or do you grab your phone, snap a picture for posterity, and then start browsing area rugs online?
I think we both know the answer to that.
I think so, too.
But sometimes those parenting fails go beyond rogue artistic expression.
Oh, really? Like what?
Like the time you're halfway to your destination on a road trip.
Uh-oh.
And you realize you have forgotten to pack pants for your toddler.
Oh, no. The dreaded pantsless road trip. It happens to the best of us.
We've all been there.
So what do? You're miles from civilization. You're armed with nothing but a dwindling supply of snacks.
Right.
And a whole lot of hope.
That's when you become like a master of improvisation. You're fashioning makeshift clothing out of spare diapers.
Oh, my God.
And duct tape.
But you know what? Kids are so resilient. They don't care if they're rocking a diaper and blanket kilt to the rest stop.
Yeah.
As long as they have your love.
Exact.
And attention.
Yeah, good.
Good.
Exactly. It's a good reminder that sometimes our parenting anxieties are more about our own need for control than their actual well-being.
So true.
Yeah.
We put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect.
Yes.
But kids don't need perfection.
They don't.
They need us to be present.
Yes.
To be forgiving of our mistakes and theirs.
Yes.
And to find the humor in those moments when life throws a curveball.
Because you know what? It's those shared moments of laughter.
Yeah.
Remember that time when stories, they become like the fabric of family folklore?
100%.
The burnt pancakes, the epic diaper blowouts, the accidentally dropped F-bomb that gets repeated at the most inopportune time.
Oh, gosh.
They all become badges of honor in the parenting trenches.
Yes, they really do. They remind us that we're all just figuring it out as we go.
Right.
And that it's okay to laugh at the chaos. In fact, it's essential for our sanity.
I completely agree. So the next time that you are facing a parenting challenge, remember this.
Sure.
One day it will be a great story.
Yes.
And in the meantime, you can take comfort in knowing that you're not alone in this wild, wonderful, and often utterly hilarious journey of parenthood.
Well said. And to you, our listeners, thanks for diving deep with us today. Remember, parenting may not come with a manual.
That's true.
But it does come with a whole lot of laughter.
It does.
We'll catch you on the next Deep Dive.